Time for match number 22 of the IPL 2019. Kings 11 Punjab and Sunrisers Hyderabad both had a disappointing Saturday going down to Chennai and Mumbai respectively. They're looking to bounce back at the PCA Stadium in Mohali, where a toss has already been conducted, and I'm quite glad actually that the stronger team, or the presumably stronger team, has actually lost a toss, because it made for a very dull Sunday when both Kolkata Knight Riders and Delhi Capitals won tosses and made the contest even more one-sided. Don't expect that when R. Ashwin and Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who continues to lead Sunrisers in the absence of Kane Williamson, meet up now at Mohali. I've got Shaun, Tait and Dasgupta with me on ESPN Cricinfo Match Day T20. Gentlemen, we don't want another one-sided affair, Deep.
Yeah.
And it's probably a good thing that the Kings 11 have won the toss, and hopefully they'll chase better than they did at the Chepauk a couple of nights back.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully so. And the changes that they've made, I mean, listen, they've done well this season. If you look at that side, you wouldn't expect them to be where they are at the table right now. So I think they've done well. I think Ashwin's not only bowled well, I think he's captained the side well as well, the Punjab side.
All right, Teddy, just thoughts on Sunrisers Hyderabad coming off what you could call a bit of a stunning defeat to Mumbai. You don't expect that from a strong batting team chasing. Might just be a good thing they're batting first.
Yeah, I think so, and I think you can expect them to come back strong. They're a quality outfit. A likeable, we spoke about earlier, a likeable team. They're always going to be around the mark at the end of the season, you'd like to think. They seem to do, in Williamson's absence, Boovy seems to be doing a reasonable job, but obviously you focus on their bowling attacks, fantastic, those two guys at the top.
One good thing about these defeats in, say, the 5th, 6th game is that you get an idea of the balance of teams. And let's talk first Punjab and then Sunrisers. Both of them would have had some alarms go off. Hyderabad with an exposing of that middle order. Punjab, I don't know if you can look at that team. Now, the changes that Punjab have made, Deep, they've gotten Mujib, and they've gotten Ankit Rajput, and Andrew Tye and M. Ashwin miss out. So what does that tell you about what they look at as an ideal combination? Ashwin saying in the toss that it's due to the venue.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what Tye provides them with is his strength, his change of pace and all that. And so I think that combination with Murugan Ashwin and Tye would be on pitches which would help the turners a bit. I mean, there is something for both Tye and Ashwin. And then on this surface, which actually does not help the spinners a lot, you're looking at Ankit Rajput, who is an out-and-out fast bowler. He's got that pace and carry. And obviously, you've got Mujib, who's brilliant. I mean, the surface does not matter. As far as I'm concerned, irrespective of the surface, Mujib plays in every game.
Sometimes you think irrespective of surfaces, you play your best bowlers or your best team. And Andrew Tye was part of that best team, had a purple cap to his credit too. It's not quite the same Andrew Tye this year.
Yeah, we've sort of gone over the last few nights, I think. It just seems to me I'm just throwing it out there, the last 12 months, say, without being exact. He just seems like a different bowler. He hasn't got the same. I think his change-ups, he's bowling them at strange times. Maybe not even bowling them enough. Through some of the one-day games he's played for Australia, just didn't look right. Didn't seem to fit in properly. Obviously, Big Bash, he always takes wickets and does reasonably well, but it's certainly this last couple of seasons is not the same Andrew Tye.
But would it be fair to say that batsmen have worked him out, because he bowls quite a bit of those knuckle balls and slow? Now everyone is kind of waiting for his slow balls, and they're like, so they're able to pick up those knuckle balls better than before. And Australia, as you mentioned, maybe because of the size of the ground, he just gets away with those slow ones.
It's almost like, speaking of batsmen, when I was playing and they're talking about guys that bowl slow balls, you wait for the slow ball, pretend it's coming every single ball, and then you just deal with the normal pace delivery, which is probably what they've been doing with him. Wait for the slow ball. He's not bowling as much now, but the problem is his stock ball, his 130, 135 is not, it's not quality.
Okay, now just confirmation of the two teams. We'll continue the chat, but no Andrew Tye, like we've mentioned. Mujibur Rahman will take his place in the Kings 11 as they're back at home. Mujib last featuring on April the 1st against Delhi, where he went wicketless. Since then, they decided to change things around. It was a game that Punjab did end up winning. The glorious collapse of the Delhi Capitals comes to mind. Ankit Rajput features too after featuring in the opening game against the Rajasthan Royals. So those are the two changes for Punjab that continue to have both Chris Gayle and Sam Curran. Same team for Sunrisers Hyderabad that see no return for Kane Williamson in spite of his tremendous utility that they could have used against Mumbai Indians. So this is the team they've gone with. Mohammad Nabi, who now has tasted IPL defeat for the first time after Mumbai keeps his place at the expense of Williamson. Let's talk about Hyderabad's balance a little deep after what happened in that game against Mumbai. Small target, but they lose one on best too early. All of a sudden, there was chaos.
Yeah, and especially when I look at that batting order, you depend a lot, especially in the middle order, on Manish Pandey. And his numbers, ever since he's left KKR, has been quite dismal. They're not flattering at all, and he hasn't really produced the goods for Hyderabad. So, listen, looking at Hyderabad, their mindset and all, they don't want to make too many changes, and to be honest, they don't have too many options either. I mean, the options that they might try and explore would be someone like maybe get Ridhiman Saha as a middle order batsman.
Otherwise, there's Abhishek Sharma who doesn't
There's
have
Abhishek
much,
Sharma.
You look at that middle order, you've got four names there through the middle order, which you can't rely on really now.
Yeah.
But is it a matter of a batting coach getting the squad together and say, guys, there's four of you guys there, Pandey, Shankar, Huda, Pathan. We need something from you
Might
guys.
I break that conversation up and exclude Huda and Pathan and focus on them separately? Because these are newcomers to the IPL. Vijay Shankar is being looked at with a very different lens right now. There's almost a World Cup eye on him. Manish Pandey has been around enough time, but Huda and Yusuf Pathan, would you give them a bit of a hard
That's what I'm saying. Absolutely. I mean, sometimes it's just it's not a bollocking, but it's just like, guys, we need you to perform now. If we lose one of our openers, or both of our openers, it's going to be tough for us to win the game unless you guys come in and take the game on. Don't be timid with the batting through the middle order. Take the game on.
Right. Okay. Let's just confirm our first poll for you as things get exciting ahead of this game between Punjab and Hyderabad. Mujib for Andrew Tait, the right move. Shaun talking about Andrew Tait's recent lack of form. Ashwin talking about how it's a tactical change looking at the conditions. But do you think it's a good idea? I know there are a lot of Mujibur Rahman and Afghan fans on our Facebook feed, so start getting busy. Let's go to our first match point and just focus a little bit about Rashid Khan. Not among the wickets this time, and that's something we've got for you. Let's just throw to Rashid Khan's very good-looking flashcard. He's done his job, 20s and whatnot, but Deep, it looks like teams have decided that they're trying to try and keep Rashid Khan dry on the wickets. And it may or may not work, but maybe it might see a different Rashid Khan this time.
Listen, I remember him talking about before this IPL that he's working on leg spin, different varieties and different kinds. Obviously those numbers are quite evident. I mean, you're looking at 17, 21 and 4.
Yeah.
So the economy, in fact, has become better. So that's an indicator what batsmen are doing, what our team's doing against him is don't give him any wickets. It's all right if you get 24, 25 out of his 4 overs. We'll look at the other 16. See, the important part is Bhuvneshwar hasn't fired that much either. Yeah. So Sid Kaul has gone for a few. He has that tendency. Sandeep Sharma, his role has changed now, but he again has that tendency to go for a few. And then suddenly you look at that bowling side and say, okay, Rashid is fine 4 overs, and the other 16 can be a little tricky.
And this is the difference between the Sunrisers of say a year or two back and this year. Andre Russell started that and showed the rest of the league too, that Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Sandeep Sharma, Sid Kaul can be taken apart. And then there's the fourth bowler who's now Mohammad Nabi, earlier it was Shakib or whatever. But you have confidence in taking the other 15, 16 overs, so you don't mind not getting runs at Rashid Khan.
Yeah, you can sort of sit on him a bit, which, the Big Bash, he bowled really well. He actually, it's quite interesting, he had a tragedy in his family. During the Big Bash, he lost his father. And that was tough for him to come back and stay on. And probably since then, maybe that sort of gave him a bit of a halt. Obviously emotions changing while he was in the Big Bash. That might not be on his mind either. But at the same time, we look at Rashid Khan, he hasn't been around that long as well. So maybe it's almost like the Thai thing. A couple of seasons, guys are sort of starting to, okay, right, we can sit on this guy now, work him out. And if there's a competition where he's ever going to find it challenging, it's this one.
Let's have a look at a few more numbers for Rashid Khan and see how he's being used, how batsmen are looking to play him. He's only bowled the 1 over in the power play. He essentially bowls in the middle and chokes teams in that sort of phase. Has been used a little bit at the death, but that phase in the middle where you expect Rashid Khan to continue bowling and expect teams to not take him on has been this. Would you be okay if you're Rashid Khan with that? That the batsmen are showing you some respect, that's not a big deal. Or would you start getting a little impatient, I need some wickets to go with that?
As far as Rashid is concerned, you can't really think about that. What you can think about, as Shaun will agree, is bowl the right areas and do your job. Getting wickets, not getting wickets is not what you can control. But it could be something of a concern for the team management, because what was happening, as I mentioned before, Rashid is keeping it tight, but the others aren't bowling as well as they used to or they're expected to. So So it's making the opposition job easier because now, okay, it's all right to play out those 4 overs and we'll take on the others then.
One man who did take Rashid Khan on was Gayle actually last year. This should be a good.
That's going to be an interesting matchup. Yeah. There's a couple of nice little matchups throughout this game, and that's one of them.
Yeah, Gayle. Let's have a look a little more at some of Rashid Khan's numbers, and this is the googlies, the utility of the googly. 2019, he's averaging 31 with the googly. It looks like the batsman, again, as a result, not attacking him. So he's playing the googlies a little better.
Yeah, because what happens as a batsman, if you can't read a bowler, then you try and eliminate the delivery which can get you out. And because the googly comes into a right-hander, your options of getting out are a lot more in terms of bowled and leg before and all. So you're playing for the googly and you're all right. If you're beaten outside off stump with a leg spinner, you're all right.
In fact, you're playing only for the googly now.
You're just playing for the googly.
A lot of batsmen are just looking at the ball that
exactly.
comes in.
And if you look at his action, because he at times goes past perpendicular, with that kind of an action, straight away as a batsman, your first reaction, it's a googly.
Yeah, just simplify that for me again, because that wasn't very bright.
Okay.
Yeah, past perpendicular.
So, you know what? It's like he bowls from here, and at most of the times, his leg spinner. Okay,
there you go, perfect. Yeah, he does
so
that.
most of the time, his release point is there. So as soon as a batsman, you see the back of the palm, even a little bit, your first reaction, it's a googly. Yeah. So his leg spinners also, he bowls like that.
Which is very rare.
Which is very rare.
He doesn't have this flex and extension that you had right now.
No, obviously not, because you asked me to.
I'm just saying that would be a nice way to bowl it. But the leg spinners always have the cleanest actions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's neat. That's exactly it. And the wicketkeeper would know because they tend to have more work than the batsman to do to come to pick it. The batsmen keep missing Rashid Khan, so it comes down to the keeper. So good on Deep on that. But it'll be a great matchup against Gayle. That's one for the second half. Now that Punjab are bowling first, let's focus on Punjab and how their improved showing from Punjab's middle order is needed. We've got a bit of an issue with Kings 11 Punjab if you look at the last chase that they had. And again, it's a similar conversation like Hyderabad, Deep. Who do you look at and say, you're in charge to make sure this run rate doesn't dip, or you're in charge to make sure we don't go flat in 7 to 14 sort of phase?
I still believe if Rahul is still around, I think he's got the experience and also the technique to kind of handle the middle overs. He's good against the spin. He steps out, he plays the sweep, he's got all the shots. So if he's still around after the 6, I would expect Rahul to bat on till the 14th, 15th and control the innings as far as he's concerned. Those numbers are good because Sarfaraz is batting at 4 and he's doing all right. But again, last game was a surprise.
Yeah.
You know, them getting a 110-run partnership, but by the time Rahul got out, I think the asking rate was around 13.
This is different from the Rahul of last season.
And also, you've got a guy like Miller in the sheds,
Yeah.
where he comes out, he's not going to let that run rate drop at all. So it's a funny one. The guys did a good job. They hung out there, but
you are trusting Miller here, right?
I think to win the game,
you don't trust Yusuf Pathan to some degree or Deepak Huda. Miller has a similar role.
I mean, yeah.
But you can still trust him.
I feel he's a proven match winner, Dave Miller.
Right. So you need to give him more. Can you use him differently to break up the monotony between the way Rahul is playing plus Sarfaraz Khan?
Why not? Absolutely.
You'd bring him up? Would you be tempted by that?
It's an option. But
it's an option. You'll be tempted because also you put in a left-hander in there as well. And but you know what I've seen. I mean, I won't mind him doing that in this game because the pitch doesn't turn that much. But I haven't really seen him score a lot of runs on turners. So maybe on this surface, yes, that might not be a bad option.
There's also Sam Curran. So there's also another utility that they're not using. And Sam Curran was effective when he played for Gayle. Now they've got both in the team and he's not batted a few times, Sam Curran. So that's a question. Let's continue talking about this and let's have a look at the middle order's batting numbers. We're just comparing 2019 to 2018. Strike rate of 135 to 129. The average significantly higher. There were different people employed. There's Yuvraj Singh employed for a little while. That didn't quite work out. Manoj Tiwari came in and out. Karun Nair was the fulcrum of the middle order. All that seems to have changed. Now, Rahul was huge last year, Deep. How much of this is down to perhaps a little insecurity of his own runs, that he's changed the way he's playing? Because I can't understand why Rahul is playing differently after the kind of season he had last year.
That's a good one. I don't think he's insecure. I mean, if you ask anyone, and as far as insecurity in terms of World Cup squad,
yes.
I think 9 out of 10 would have him as the third opener. So I don't think he should be insecure as such. But I think a little more responsibility, that's what it is. If you look at that batting order, you look at any Indian batsman. He's the
He's a
senior
senior
most,
player now, that's
senior
right,
most Indian batsman there. So the expectation from the franchisee must have gone up a bit, and maybe that's the reason he's playing a different role.
You're almost seeing him play differently to Mayank Agarwal, for instance.
But I'm a huge fan of Rahul. I think I love watching when he's in full flight. He's great to watch.
Yeah.
He just needs to keep playing like that. You know what I mean? There's this. Again, we talk
Can it
about.
happen with Indian batsmen? Or can it happen with any batsman? But more Indian batsmen right now, because you know there are a few of them that are looking to make an impression.
I mean, you look at Shankar, who's playing in this game as well.
Yeah.
He's probably in the same boat. You look at Rahane, the way he played the other night. Again, this is it's always going to be a talking point with the Indian side, isn't it? They're playing for themselves, this sort of stuff. It's always going to come up.
Could he play better once the World Cup squad is announced? I'm just having a thought. Do you think he'd suddenly go, oh,
You're
thank
poking
God,
and prodding him.
whack him.
You want to
I'm
come
going
on.
now, so let's have a crack. Could that happen though? With him, maybe with Shikhar?
You don't know, because obviously he's the same batsman he was last year and the year before. He's not changed anything in his technique or anything as such. But yes, last 12 years hasn't been the greatest of years for him.
Yeah.
And obviously as a player, it does affect you mentally.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no two ways about it. How much it has affected in T20 format and franchisee cricket, I guess we'll figure out post 15th April.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the date. Deep's given it to you already. The squad will be has to be announced, and we'll see if there's a slightly different, more relaxed scale, Rahul. That'd be much greater for all of us to watch, because this one that we saw against Chennai wasn't quite what we're expecting, especially with the stakes he's had last year. Now, what about Mujibur Rahman v Andrew Tye, the poll that we put out at the start of the show? Where do you think 87% are fond of Mujib's move to come back into this team? And how many of you now think that could result in Punjab winning and possibly giving Hyderabad 2 defeats in a row? That's something that they wouldn't have faced very often. But who will win today, Punjab or Hyderabad? Those are your reactions if you're watching on our Facebook live video. So get busy on that. Right, let's go to our next talking point, our next match point, and the juggernaut that is Johnny Bairstow and David Warner. They don't have Alzari Joseph in this team, otherwise that's one way to stop them. But there's a leg spinning option that they could also use. Mumbai are the first team to breach this opening fort. Bangalore showed everyone what could happen if you don't get it right early. So let's just have a chat on how Punjab can go about it. They're going to be seeing Bairstow and Warner first up. Looking at Johnny Bairstow's numbers and his very good looking flash card, all in orange for the team that he plays for. He's hit the ground running. Personally, I never thought Johnny Bairstow would be this good this quickly, Deep. He's a damn good player and very good against most sorts of bowling.
Yeah.
But just thoughts on Johnny Bairstow. He's effectively keeping Kane Williamson out, even if he's fit.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, this is not a surprise because the way he's batted in the last 1 year.
For England as well, he's been great.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. I mean, international cricket, I think, apart from Virat, I believe nobody else has scored more runs than
There
him.
are all these guys that play well all over the world, and the IPL comes around and all.
Yeah, but you know what? He plays the spin well. That's one of the biggest things that you're looking for at an overseas batsman, and he plays the spin well. That's a big advantage. And obviously, I mean, the franchise itself, SRH. I mean, I think it's a really well-run franchise. I think they
Players
give
always
it a lot
seem
of
happy
faith.
and comfortable, don't they?
Yeah.
The Hyderabad guys, there's never any complaints out of there. They're always happy and comfortable. It seems like a relaxed ship they run, which helps. It helps. An overseas player coming to India for 2 months.
It also seems a little clarity on what approach you need to take. It's not like Johnny Bairstow is going to be told you bat through and David Warner goes hard, which is what we've seen.
Both,
You have a crack.
Both have a crack, exactly. It's not about David Warner anymore.
Right.
Which is, he's always the focal point. David Warner, that's all bat around him. Now all of a sudden they got a guy with him who's just as good.
Now, he's been dismissed 5 times to leg spin in this series. So that's something that I'm sure R. Ashwin, with all his input and investment into data and whatnot and matchups, will take into consideration. He's going to be up against Mujib, an international in himself. So that's what's happened this time. But the strike rate is still 182. So this could go either way.
We might see 2 spinners open bowling.
Yeah, both of them. Would you be tempted by that? There is Shami and Rajput.
I'm not too sure. I'd rather have.
They both play spin okay, though. That's, these guys,
I mean, Warner plays spinner, right? But yeah, you never know. Maybe the first 2 overs, so Mujib and Ashwin to start 1 and 2. Yeah.
Let's have a look at Warner v Ashwin, because that could be one way of going about it. Don't discount R. Ashwin taking a chance or 2 with this. 3 dismissals.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And a strike rate of 124. You take that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's not a bad idea. I mean, starting
Ashwin will
first
open the
overs.
bowling, for sure.
Rohit Sharma brought in Rahul Chahar, I think 3 overs or 4 overs into it, and he realized Johnny Bairstow is getting a good feel of it. Would that be one way to go? Start with Shami or Rajput and then bring someone else in?
But you know what, Mujib you can. You know, Mujib, I think he's a class act, so he can bowl anywhere. I mean, from 1 to 20 he can bowl anywhere. That's how I look at him. So yeah, I mean, you might just want to start with maybe Shami, just see if the ball's doing a bit.
Shami's a banker, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a good bowler. He's world class, and he's not going to be put off by the sight of these two guys.
But you also need someone at the death. No Andrew Tait today, so that will probably go to Shami.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you got Raj put the big fella in there to steam in as well.
Okay.
So that'll be an interesting matchup there as well.
How he uses his...
No, you've got
Ashwin
Shami. No, Shami and Bhuvi.
Oh, Shami v Bhuvi. Oh,
Shami
you've thrown
Bhuvi.
a completely different one. Yeah, maybe
So listen, if you're looking at two seamers, you've got Bumrah, then if you have to choose between Shami and Bhuvi.
If the World Cup was tomorrow, who do you choose?
Oh my God, that's a tough one. I'll pick three seamers.
Oh, Yuzvendra Chahal. He's the only one who's keeping it down for RCB, and you've dumped him from the team. Yeah.
No, it's a tough one.
Let me ask the seamer. Let me ask the fast bowler.
You know what? Oh man, at the moment, look at Shami the way he's been bowling. You'd probably have to go with him, which is silly because I think Bhuvi's as good as it gets as well. But
Shami got Andre Russell out, and Virat Kohli will remember how many people are in the ring.
I think Shami's last 6 months, you'd probably have to go with him, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And also the fact that he has the ability to pick up wickets in the middle overs also. I mean, he's special,
Okay, we're going to come back to that discussion that we started with, which is Hyderabad's soft middle order. It's like how Sanjay Manjrekar speaks of India and says that soft underbelly that they have. But the same can almost be said about Sunrisers Hyderabad. Deep can't get over that. Right.
I love the way you mimic him as well.
I mimicked him. What? No, I just said it as it is. Right. 1 to 3 versus 4 to 6. Now, you know 1, 2, 3 constitute Warner and Bairstow. And they also constitute far more experienced internationals. But 4 to 6, strike rate of 115, average 22. They normally don't have a lot to do, Deep. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But when they had something to do against Mumbai, they were exposed. Now, if you were Tom Moody or if you were Sunrisers Hyderabad, would you be too worried?
I would be concerned. I wouldn't be worried per se. Listen, I mean, those numbers would be similar for most of the teams in T20. You would expect your top 3 to get major bulk of the runs. But what has happened is because it hasn't been exposed, they haven't got enough opportunities, the middle order. I mean, the same case with India. I mean, if you look at the last 2-3 years, the top 3 scored so much that they didn't get enough opportunity in the middle order. So, but I hope SRH don't go the India way and keep changing the middle order. You just have faith in them. Maybe give them a few more.
But can you have faith in these guys? You know everything about Pathan and Huda, and Tom Moody doesn't strike me as someone who's going to wait too long.
No, I don't think so. But again, I think it just comes down. It sounds so general, but it's right what this says there. Manish Pandey needs to step up. You look at the names. You look at the names: Pandey, Shankar, Huda, Pathan. They've all done it before. Just out of you 4, someone pull your socks up, stand up, grit your teeth, and take the game on, and show that you're.
Just to look at some numbers of Manish Pandey as we continue the conversation. One thing fans would have noticed is the strike rate of Manish Pandey, which again, it's what every team needs to figure. You have one guy who takes a little time, who may not go quickly, strikes at 112 against spin, and there's a good chance he comes in at a time where a number of spinners are employed. We're also looking phase-wise, Deep. 94 power play, 121 mid, 146 death. Now, if he's got a role in the middle overs, you're probably looking for him to do a little better than that. And that's since IPL 2018, striking at 105.
That's when he moved from KKR to Hyderabad. And I was just looking at some numbers for Hyderabad. He's averaging 20 and strike rate of 108 or 10, something like that.
That's not good enough.
That's not good enough. That's not good enough. But yeah, you've got Vijay Shankar, you've got Manish Pandey. See, when I look at the other two, Huda and Yusuf, they're very similar. They're more like last 5 over kind of players. You can't expect them to come in the 10th over and do the job which you expect someone like Vijay Shankar and Manish Pandey to do. And that's where Manish has to step up. He's got the experience, he's got the ability, but he has to work out the first 10 deliveries. He can't be going 3 runs in the first 10 and then he feels obliged to play a rash shot.
How he almost did that against Mumbai. He got put down by Kieron Pollard, and then it seemed like he was just shaking his head. Maybe the situation didn't demand it, but it must be hard for some batsmen who like taking their time and suddenly be told the game's quicker
That's the
now.
thing. Well, clearly with Manish, he's got good numbers of the death. So maybe, I mean, he should look at that and say to himself, okay, all I have to do is bat through. That doesn't mean piddle along. It means bat through nicely, get yourself in. Obviously,
would another way be just bring him in for the last 5? Can you use him for the last 5? Because you got Yusuf and Deepak Huda.
That's probably their job. I mean, you could always swap Manish with Shankar, but again, is that just a quick fix? It's not,
Let's have a look at Manish Pandey's strike rates. and sorry, his average and not strike rate, but the worst batting average. It comes down to him at the top since 2018. He keeps Rohit Sharma's illustrious company, so that's not so bad.
The strike rate is probably the worry there.
Yeah, but it's not just that he's striking at 110, it's that he's also
because
taking his time.
his major issue is obviously rotation of strike in the middle overs. I mean, against the spinners especially, and the position that he bats, that's one of the things you look at is how do you rotate strike, especially the first 10, 12 deliveries when you don't want to hit big shots. That's where I think Manish has to work out a way where he can, I don't know, somehow pick up those singles and rotate the
I'm also
strike.
trying to think, after the last game, if a wicket falls early, if 3 is a bit too early for Vijay Shankar. Thoughts on that?
Well, if he's going to bat in the top order for India, it shouldn't matter where he bats in the IPL, I don't think, But I'm back on Manish. I think if Manish is batting with a Warner or a Bairstow for an extended period of time, if it happens that way, he's got time to get himself in, get off strike, get the other guy on strike, the striker of the ball on strike, and then get himself through the game. But I think when they lose wickets and they continue to lose wickets and he's the man that's out there while they're losing him, the pressure builds up on him to keep ticking the score over. So I think if he bats, if he gets lucky, and he bats for, say, 10 overs with one of the openers, things might get easier for him, but maybe it hasn't quite worked out that way.
What are their options in Hyderabad? If you look at that team, there's Ridhiman Saha.
Ridhiman Saha, Abhishek, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't get that experience from Abhishek, but I think he's a really, really good player. I think he's got
There's a lot of
talent.
experience up and down in that team.
Yeah, so because of that,
Yeah.
I really wouldn't mind see him maybe if someone like Manish or say Deepak or Yusuf doesn't score as much, let's get the youngster in. And he's played couple of games, right? Last season he played for Delhi and did all right. And you also get a little bit of left arm spin
Why
from
not?
him.
And how long do you wait till would it require one more game for that middle order for changes to be done?
I think halfway mark, which is they've
now
got
approaching.
2 more, approaching. So 2 more games, halfway mark. After 7 games, you take a call.
Okay, bit of pressure then on that Sunrisers middle order, and they have the responsibility to bat first, and it'll be very, very interesting if one of Warner or Best or both get out early. Then we'll see what the Sunrisers middle order is really made of, because they didn't have a decent showing against Mumbai. Let's quickly have a look at our Fab 4 picks from Shaun, Tait and Dasgupta. This is the part that they enjoy the most.
I keep forgetting to think
Tatey,
about this. I
you
keep
forgetting?
to think about
Let's throw up the numbers for you. Let's throw up the squads for you. Yeah, you got
All
Best
right,
or
okay,
Warner.
obviously, this team, I'm going to go... Look, I'm going to go with...
Yeah, so that's Punjab. Obviously, Gayle is
Punjab.
one. Mujib is
I'm
another.
going to go
Shami is
with...
one.
I'm going to go with Chris Gayle tonight.
All right. I think that's all that you're picking from Punjab. I'm just sensing that.
Chris Gayle and...
That's Hyderabad.
yeah, I'm going to go with David
All right.
Warner at the top. I'm going to go with Sandeep Sharma
Okay.
and Rashid Khan.
All right. That's some good picks taken. So best stores available.
Yeah, so I'll take Bairstow then.
Very
I'll
well.
take Bairstow, I'll take KL Rahul,
Okay.
and I'm going to look at Mujib.
Wow.
So you've picked Mujib?
Yeah,
No,
he's picked
no.
Rashid. So Mujib,
Right,
you and
so
Rashid in.
right. So I've got Mujib and I've got Nabi as well.
You got Mohammad Nabi.
Oh,
That's
he's
a
playing
nice
well,
pick.
he's playing well. Yeah.
Okay, good pick. Should make it fun. Thank you very much to Dasgupta and Shaun, Tait. Let's have a look at how our poll looks after you guys have put in your votes. Hyderabad or Punjab? 64% to Hyderabad, even though it is a home game for Punjab. That's rather curious in spite of the toss that they've lost. But let's see how David Warner and Bairstow go. Maybe that poll will change as these two batsmen stay on the crease, or if they're not. We'll take your thoughts on our halftime show on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday T20. We'll also be back with a quick 10-over update with Alexis Nunez and one of the boys. For now, the story from the PCA Stadium, Warner and Bairstow put into bat by Ashwin's Punjab.